Hi guys, so I am here doing my Enlightened education course, and it's not really a course, it's more like a discussion. And so of course I'm going to be sharing, and I ask that all of you share as well, because what we're going to be talking about is fear, okay? And fear is something that comes up for each and every one of us. No one can say that they don't have fear, all right? So that is what we're going to be talking about today, is fear. All right, so here we go. I am just sharing this out. I ask that you guys share this out as well. Hello, Miss Kelly. Thank you for joining. Thanks for being here. Hello. All right, just sharing this out, guys. And I ask that you guys do the same, of course. Thank you. All right, let's paste that right there. Share this on my own timeline. So like I said, I'm going to be talking about fear and, how it comes up, why it comes up, and, a lot of different other aspects that come along with fear. Because there's actually a common fear that everyone has, okay? And regardless of, if you want to admit it to yourself or not, we all have the fear of failure, okay? We have the fear of failure, and we also have the fear not only of failure, but we have the fear of being guided in the right direction. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking right now. How am I afraid of being guided? But believe you me, you have no idea of how much it really does affect us to feel guided, and how fearful that brings us, how much fear that really does bring us into. And like I said, guys, I'm just sharing on my groups, and I ask that you share on your groups, because remember, the more information that we get out there, the more we share, the more that I share, the more that this grows, okay? The more that knowledge grows. So I am just sharing it out to all my pages, all my stuff, as I'm also talking to all of you. So, and that's actually something hello Phyllis, thanks for joining. That's really something I want to talk about, is the fear of being guided, okay? That's what I want to be my main focus, the fear of being guided. What is that about? What does that even mean, the fear of being guided? So, a lot of people, when they come to me, they say, hi, Nicole, good to see you too, and congratulations on taking your step to making, your life better. So congratulations. And so, a lot of people, when they come to me, they're like, oh, so when I bring spirit into my life is going to be amazing. And I hate to tell you and burst the spiritual bubble, that's not how it works at all. When you invite spirit in, yes, your life does become magical. It does become amazing. But here's the big but that comes with that. It's also, when you invite that divine force, it's going to put a microscope to your life, and it's going to say, okay, where have you not been authentic with yourself? Where have you not said, hey, oh, hi, Mimi. Thanks for joining. So where have you not been authentic? Where have you not been yourself? Where do you still need to grow? And it's going to put that microscope on it. And sometimes that can be so scary because, and I can only speak from my own experience. That's the only way I can speak from. I can't speak from your experience because I haven't experienced that. Hello. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Andrea. Guys, don't forget to share. And remember, I'm asking you to share so that way this information gets out there. Because the more we share, spiritual information, the more it grows and the more people are enlightened. All right, so that's all the groups I'm going to share on, because I really want to focus on this now. Well, thank you for being here. Thanks for coming to the class, if you will. So when it comes to that guiding force that enters into our life, all right, thank you. So when I ask Spirit, and I ask Spirit to guide me, use me, move me in all ways, and And I started reading A Course in Miracles. Well, everything was going great and dandy. And then, that's when everything started to also change. So I had gotten basically accused at my job of doing something that I didn't do. And, I was put on probation, and I said, okay, I'll be on probation. And, 6 days passed, and I heard nothing. So what did I do? I said, Spirit, what am I going to do? I don't know. And I was so afraid of what was going to happen. Hi, Melissa. Hi. Hello. Hi, Yanisa. Hi, Casey. All right. I was so afraid. I was like, what's going to happen? Why aren't you guiding me? And Spirit said to me right there in that moment, I am guiding you. You don't see it yet because you don't see my divine plan. And I said, I understand I don't see your plan, but come on, give me a nugget, give me something. And nothing, and that was it for me. And I said, you know what, fine, I give it to you. I give it to you, universe, take it. Because I just couldn't handle the fear anymore. I was every day, I wasn't eating, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't doing anything because I was in this fear state and I was just all pent up. And we all get to that place. We all get there. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. And I just gave it to Spirit and I said, here, take it. I don't know what to do anymore. And then the day came and I called my job and I said, you heard anything yet? Nope, still haven't heard anything. And, just kept on going. And I was like, you still haven't heard anything? Nope, haven't heard a thing. Okay. And right then in that moment, I did something I never thought I would do. I said, thank you so much for all that you've given me, all the things that you've gone through. But I resign. Thank you so much for the opportunity. After 10 years, thank you. I resign. And of course, at that point, I felt so liberated because I was free of the fear. I had done what I had feared most. I quit my job. My 3-dimensional pays my bills job. I quit. That was it. And I didn't know what to do after that, but I felt so free though. And I was like, wow, this feels amazing. And, this is what's led me to just continue on my journey of my, my spirituality. So by no stretch, and the reason I'm telling you this story isn't to instill fear in you. It is to instill in you that when you call on Spirit, okay, when you call on God, if you will, when you call on the angels, your spirit guides, life does not become easier. Okay? And it's not, and this is not to scare you either, to say, don't, basically don't call on Spirit. I encourage you to call on Spirit and for it to guide you and use you and move you in all ways. Because in doing that, here is the amazing thing. Okay? Here's the absolutely amazing thing. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen right here and right now, but in August, I have been invited to go to Indonesia to do a talk on meditation. Okay? Me, Ron Schaefer of Simply Intuitive, your ambassador to enlightenment, has been invited to go to Indonesia and talk about meditation and energy work and do readings. If I was at my 3D job, there's no way in God's green earth that I would be able to take that off. I couldn't. I've also now been invited or chosen, if you will, to go to Maui. Okay? I'm still waiting for the moment when I can fully believe. Right now, I just feel like the universe hates me. And see, Kaylee, what I want to tell you with that, and that is a very common thing. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Do you need a Reiki person? Do I need a Reiki person? I mean, if you're volunteering, I would be more than happy to volunteer for a free Reiki, sure. But I really want to talk to you, Kaylee, about that. Oftentimes when things start crumbling down, okay, it's not a crumbling, okay? It's not crumbling. What is happening is all the things that no longer serve you are leaving. That's what's happening when we perceive our lives to crumble and fall. Okay? When we do that, okay, when we just perceive our lives to crumble away and to fall away, and we are just seeing everything we've built fall at our feet, that is when spirit is strongest with us. Because it is saying, things are not falling apart, they are falling together. God does not hate you. Spirit does not hate you. The angels do not hate you. Spirit guides do not hate you, because here is the ultimate truth of that which is this universe. God is love. Spirit is love. Your angels are thoughts from God of love, or thoughts of spirit of love. Okay? It is all of love. Nothing hates you. The only thing that hates you, or that you could perceive as hatred, is a hatred within yourself. And I know at this point that probably makes no sense to you. You're like, how do I hate myself? But that's where it all really stems from. It comes from up here in the mind. The mind makes us feel so guilty. And it makes us go into these fearful places where, none of us seem to want to tread. Okay? We all say, oh, I don't want to go there because it's scary. But did you ever think that you're meant to go there because it is scary? And this is the other thing I really want to disperse for everyone. A lot of people say, I don't allow negativity into my life. I can't deal with negativity. Is it the fact that you can't deal with the negativity? Or is it the fact that you're afraid to look at it? Because if you look at it, that means you recognize it. And if you recognize it within that person, that means you recognize it within yourself. That is what negativity is there for. It is not there to say, oh, I can't have you in my life, I push you away. It is there for you to recognize and see. That is what it is there for. It is not there for you to demean and, punish. God never punishes. That's the thing. God will have his own way with things. All right? That's what he will do. It's not our job to say, well, Marianne, and I'm just using my friend Marianne Moore of Akashic Inspirations for an example. That's all. Well, Marianne, she texted me and said I was only a teacher. Is that what really? Well, what am I doing then? What am I doing from my perspective? I'm punishing her then. Because I'm saying, oh, well, if I'm just a teacher, why this and why that? I go into that ego fear because I place what she says at a standard. I say, oh, well, she says this, so obviously it's true. But that's our egos, guys. We have to begin to stop seeing fear, fear, fear. Because fear is nothing more than an illusion. Love is the only thing that is real. And I believe you me, I can so resonate with fear being real. I can because I was there. And I understand that fear is real within this third dimension. But if we really look at life and say life is nothing more than a screen that we project our thoughts onto, well then, honey, guess what? It's all you. But do you feel you have to protect our energy? My love has a son who is an active heroin and crack addict. I don't want to be around him. And that's fine. I'm not saying that you have to be around him. I'm not saying that has to, be. But what I am saying is instead of, basically what you're doing is not to show him that abandonment. Because if I got a message from the Palladians who I channel, and they said, what addiction really is? Someone's trying to fill a void because they can't fill it themselves. They don't feel like they can. And it's not about avoiding the energy that's around you. It's just about saying, you know what? I send you love. I send you love. Instead of, I'm going to attack. And attack thoughts are blame, shame, and guilt, anger, repression even. Those are all attack thoughts. And we are all so wonderful at, saying, I can send you love and light, but are you really? Can you feel that within yourself and say, I love you? Can you really do that? And Mimi, your situation is perfect example of that. It is the question to say, can you say, because this person is technically, within all of creation, we are all one. We are all a thought in God's mind. So that means that any negative thought that you have towards someone is an attack on yourself. Okay? And what is the ego? If we really think about this, the ego is edging God out. I love him, but his choices are so poor. I want nothing but love and light for him. And then that's beautiful. That's fine. And like I said, I'm not saying you have to interact with him, but what I am saying is you have to be able to send that love. Wow, how crazy. Thought I started watching this topic and this moment. Wow, how crazy thought or throughout I started watching this on this topic at this moment. Oh, beautiful. I'm glad that you did. It's because you're here. Attacks can be a defense if you pick out to pick on. Yes, I pray for it. Beautiful, beautiful, Mimi. That is beautiful. Yes, you can pray for them. You can ask for them to be, delivered, if you will. But see, you can't be angry that he's poisoning himself. Because let's look at this. Really look at this. If you're angry at him, that he's poisoning himself. And that, once again, that's his choice. Okay? That's his choice. Can you really be angry at his choice? Because it's not yours. It's not your choice to poison your body. It's his choice. So in looking back at that, we have to look at, well, if I'm angry at that, why am I angry at that? And go from there, because every attack thought that we have on someone, like I said, anger is a type of attack thought. It comes back to us. Just like they say, when you're pointing one finger, 3 more fingers are pointing back at you. And, it's not, like I said, it's not easy. I just can't look at him. He is sick. And that's all right. Then that is your choice. But the thing is, once again, is being able, because I want to use this example. And I hope you don't think that I'm picking on you, Mimi, because I'm not. It's just you are giving a great example of this. All right? And what I want to use is, let's say, we're going to use Jesus or Buddha. It doesn't really matter, the religious figure that we use. We're just going to use Jesus for the sake of right now. So let's say, Mimi, that Jesus went up to Dylan. And he said, he went up to him and he said, I have my limits. I have my limits on love. I'm sorry, I can't love you. I'm sorry, I can't. Do you think Jesus would do that? Do you think Jesus would go up to someone and be like, well, I have my limits on what I'm going to love or who I'm going to love? And if you, once again, you are one with Jesus, you are one with God, okay? Then can we really turn a blind eye to anyone who's suffering? And once again, I'm not saying that you have to go and be Jesus. You don't, by any stretch of the imagination, have to be Jesus. But what I'm illustrating here is that we have this mechanism, okay? When things get a little too real, if you will, that we hold back. We say, well, I have my limits to love. I can only love so much, The reading, please. Well, if you would like a reading, you're more than welcome to message me after this, and I'll be more than happy to do that for you, to have a reading. My readings for an hour are $60, and my readings for 30 minutes are $44. So, we can't say, well, that's my limit to love. Love is limitless. There is no limit to what love can do unless we put it inside that box. Now, fear is the exact same way. Fear can, in fact, be boundless. We can be afraid of everything and everyone. Okay? And the question to ask yourself is, what are you going to let be boundless? But he is abusing his kids and his baby. And I'm not telling you not to be angry, Mimi. I can't tell you not to be angry because I'm not at that point where I'm not angry. I mean, that makes me angry to think that this person is abusing his children. But what I can tell you from this point, from this perspective where I'm sitting right now, okay? Maybe anger is, I don't know what you're trying to say there. It messed up. Okay, there we go. It makes you sad. Okay? But once again, there's nothing from this point, from this perspective that I'm sharing with you in the situation to say, all we can do, we can pray. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot. You're like, okay, well, people tell me they can pray all the time. But prayer, like I said, is a very powerful medicine. And we have to be able to really see where people are in their journey and not judge that. By no stretch of the imagination am I saying that it's okay that he's abusing his kids or his wife or anything, because it's not all right. But what I am saying is that the only thing that we can do at this point is not to ignore it. Because if we ignore it, what are we doing? We are turning a blind eye to suffering. And Jesus would never turn a blind eye to suffering. He would say, that is injustice. Just like the suffragette movement or the abolitionist movement. Those people said, this will not stand. I will not have this. And, that's the stand that they took. And that's beautiful, Mimi, and that's all we can do. But you have to release, and I know that you changed your wording to sad, but also you do have to release the anger, because once again, it's that same principle. You point a finger at someone's pointing 3 fingers back at you. And I was going to be teaching all about fear. But, this is what it's turned into. And I think this is beautiful and wonderful. And Mimi, let me thank you for allowing me to, impart on you what I can in this moment. Because that's all that I can do. I can only impart on you what I know at this moment in time. And I want to thank you for allowing me to do that. And so once again, it is about that prayer, and it is about release, and it is about letting go of those things. Get gripped like that by substance. Yes, and like I said, when they get gripped by that substance, what the Palladians have told me is because, of course, it's not okay. It's a manifestation of ego. I like Marianne Williams says about love, something love. I do love you. Now, yes, I love Marianne Williams as well. She is fabulous. I absolutely adore her. I started watching her because she really talks about A Course in Miracles a whole awful lot. And because, that's what her books are all about. So I absolutely adore her. And from that perspective, and that's where I'm talking from right now, is from A Course in Miracles perspective, because that's what I'm working. That's what I'm doing. That's my work that I'm doing to better myself. And that's the only thing that you can really do for anyone at this time, is to better yourself. We can't better other people. We can better ourselves. And through bettering ourselves, just like Marianne Williams says, The Course in Miracles says, you teach as you learn. And that's what I'm doing. I'm learning and I'm teaching at the same time. Anything comes to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a great topic. I want to talk about it. It's nice to a friend. She has many guests she may put in my phone trying to destroy it. Well, and that's, once again, I want to reach to you for some help, but I don't know what to write. I feel so heartbroken. Well, I'm sorry that you feel heartbroken. And once again, the only way to heal heartache is to experience the heartache, is to say, okay, and then, all the feelings that come up about guilt or shame or blame or anything like that, that's where the transmutation process has to go, because those things. Thank you for sharing with me in this space today, Ron. I appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you, and thank you once again for allowing me to do that. And so, when it comes to heartbreak, number one, I look her like a sister she betrayed. But here, Yvonne, when it comes to betrayal, once again, that's the ego thinking, okay? That's not a heart-centered way of thinking. She betrayed me. That's an attack thought. And the only thing that you can do is, once again, is to extend to her forgiveness. That's all we can really do, is we can extend forgiveness. Okay? And that's where we have to come from. And that's one way to combat fear, is to extend forgiveness. is to extend love in front of you instead of extending fear in front of you. You know, something that Marianne Williams / The Course in Miracles said is that the ego at its best is suspicious. The ego at its worst is vicious. Okay, there it is. I mean, so once again, the ego at its best is suspicious of everyone and everything around it. It will always constantly be on that lookout for who's going to hurt me, who wants to hurt me. And then at its worst, when our ego feels like it has been betrayed, hurt, whatever the case is, it is vicious. And it will just, you know, come at you. It'll come at anyone, you know. Oh, well, thank you. You always forget everyone, or you always forgive everyone? And if you forgive everyone, then you should, you know, here's the thing. We say we forgive someone, but did you really forgive them? Okay, that's the question. How do you expect them when the accuser has been made? How do you look past that and know what happen? Whoa, hold on, let's see. How do you expect them when the accusants have been made? How do you look past that and know they won't let that happen again? And by no stretch of the imagination am I saying that, you know, forgiveness and that's it, and then everything's going to be peachy keen. I'm not saying that everything's going to be peachy keen. What I am saying with this is that when someone makes an accusation to you, okay, really makes that accusation, really comes at you in that way, you can't have a guarantee that they won't do it again. But also you have to understand this. Love can say no. Okay, you can forgive the person and be like, hey, I'm done. Move on. You don't have, just because you forgive them doesn't mean you have to make up with them. And see, there's the common misconception. People say, oh, well, I forgave you. Number one, did you truly forgive someone? True forgiveness does not come, you know, with, okay, I forgive you. Most of the time what we do is we forgive someone enough to move on. Okay, that's what we do. We forgive someone enough to move on with our life. But do we truly forgive them? And true forgiveness comes from that space in your heart where you say, okay, you know what? My ego was wounded. That's where that comes from. My ego was wounded. And I'm not saying that it was okay what you did, but I'm saying that I'm letting go of the emotional baggage that went with it. And I'm allowing myself to heal now. That is forgiveness. Okay? Because you're allowing yourself to heal. And by no stretch of the imagination do you have to, you know, go back to that person and say, hey, you know, let's get back together. Or let's do this, or let's do that. You don't have to, but you have to forgive them and release the emotional baggage that comes with it. That is how we forgive. Because all too often, what we do is we don't do that. Like I said, we give enough. We say, okay, I'm going to forgive you enough just to move on with my life. But we have to really forgive. Okay? Really forgive. And that's about letting go of the emotional baggage that comes with it. I'm not saying, like I said, never said that it was okay that they did what they did. Never ever. Okay? But what I am saying is that we do have to forgive so we can move on with life, or else we're just going to keep on reliving it over and over and over again. You know, and by no stretch of the imagination am I an expert in A Course in Miracles. I'm only telling you what I've learned thus far. And like I said, I was going to be talking about fear, but it's really transformed into this. And, you know, I'm really enjoying this and talking about this. And, you know, like I said, I can't guarantee that I'm going to have all the answers, because I don't have all the answers. I'm only on day 42 in A Course in Miracles. So, you know, I still have I have 365 lessons. So I have a whole year to be doing this. Hello from Sweden. So someone wrote something super huge up here and I want to go back. Let's see. I love this. My wholeheartedly agree with forgiveness. Oh, okay, that's what you wrote. Beautiful. Okay. All right. So, like I said, I wasn't really planning on talking about any of that. I was really, like I said, planning on talking on fear. But this is where the Holy Spirit guided me. And that's what I said. I said, Holy Spirit. I said, Spirit, guide me, use me, move all my words. And just, wherever the conversation's going to go, it's going to go. And that's what I love about doing this, about this enlightened education, that I didn't really put anything on it. I just said enlightened education. Now, yes, I did say it was going to be about fear, but this is so much better. What if they are not ready for the forgiveness? Sorry, it's a family most like siblings really get along. What if they are not really forgiveness? Well, I mean, here's the thing. As long as you forgive, that's the important thing. Their journey is theirs, okay? Darling, been a long time student, still a student after 8 years. Forgiveness is absolutely the highest manifestation of love. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, hi. Well, I may be joining you in Maui as of April. We will see. Magical things are happening, guys. Magical things are happening. And once again, let's bring us back, with magical things are happening. Magical things do happen when you invite spirit into your life. It's just a matter of, are you going to invite spirit into your life? And the real other question you have to ask yourself is, how guidable are you? How willing are you to allowing yourself to be guided in life? Okay? Because that's really the question. How willing are you to be guided? And that is the question a lot of people don't like to answer. Honestly. Oh, I'm ready to be guided. Are you really? Like, really think about that. I forgive them from my heart, and I know I have to go on with life. Yes. Can you be too forgiving? I don't think there's such thing as being too forgiving, but there is a point in your life when you can say, yes, I forgive you. And if you keep on taking those people back and they keep on doing the same thing to you, then that's where you don't have a boundary. Okay, there's the difference in forgiveness and a boundary. Like I said, just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you need to take them back. Okay, that by no stretch of the imagination am I saying that. When you forgive someone, you let go of the emotional baggage and you're like, okay, and if you want to bring them back into your life, that's your choice. But if you start seeing that pattern again that they were doing before, well, then you can say, okay, you know what? I see that this pattern is repeating and I have to go. I'm not going to go through this again. And that's when you use God's greatest gift that he gave any human being, your ability to walk away. Okay? That's what you do. You can use your ability to walk away. Yes, they are a must. We have to know where we begin and another ends on this existential plane, on this, three-dimensional plane. We have to realize that, because otherwise, there are people out there who are takers, and they will take and they will take and they will take and they will take and they will take. And then there are people that are givers, and they will give and they will give and they will give. The archetype of the Christ is forgiveness while being murdered. Thankfully, this level of forgiveness has already been fulfilled for us. He did it as our elder brother, according to ACM. Yes, exactly. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And, he is merely, like I said, that archetype, that's like you said, not I said, you said, that archetypal energy that we can call on to be our role model and say, okay, and that's why I gave you guys the example of, would Jesus go down, and let's say, he sees a leper and he says, okay, I'm going to heal you, and then he sees a leper who is just, covered. And then he's just like, I have my limits. I can't heal you. No, Jesus would go over there and bam, you're healed. Okay, wonderful. And when it comes to that, yes, forgive them for they do not know what they do. Yes, because the ego really doesn't know what it's doing. That's what that passage in scripture is speaking about. The ego has no idea what it's doing. The ego just runs around. I'm totally a giver and I have a hard time walking away. I don't know why I am like that, but everyone else, happiness before myself. Well, you have to start putting your own happiness. You have to start, saying that I have to be happy, because you can't help anyone else if your cup doesn't runneth over. And Thina, back to what you had posted about, forgive them for they do not know what they do. And that's absolutely true. The ego doesn't know what it's doing. It's just running around in circles like a chicken with its head cut off. Oh, you're attacking me. You're attacking me. Remember, like A Course in Miracles says, Your ego at its best is suspicious. Your ego at its worst is vicious. And that is absolutely true. So, it's just constantly, it doesn't know what it's doing. It's just basically running around with like a chicken with its head cut off. Saying, I suspect you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, you all are attacking me. Is anyone really attacking? It's just that ego. So I love that you put that up there, Thea. Because we do. From our spirit, we have to forgive. From our hearts, we have to forgive. That's where the forgiveness comes into play. Hey, Amanda. So remember how I said I was going to be talking about fear? Yeah, that went out the door. We are talking about forgiveness. That's where this has led us. We are talking about forgiveness now. And people are just posting things, and I'm just really answering questions. I think that's really what this has turned into, and it's absolutely beautiful, and I love being able to do this and teach. Oh, well, beautiful. It's a fabulous book. I'm glad that this is good knowledge, and that you guys are liking this, because that's the important thing, is that I'm able to spread this out. The more I spread, the better off, a lot of people will be. All right. So, oh, goodness gracious, guys. Not my plan. This is just not in my plan at all. See how the ego plans something, and then Spirit's like, no, that's not what you're going to talk about today. Here's what you're going to talk about. This is your real topic. And so I am so grateful to you, Mimi. I really am, for you for bringing that up and allowing me to kind of, do what I do. Forgiveness comes in knowing that everyone is having their own experience. Yes, and everyone is having their own experience. That's absolutely true. That is where forgiveness comes from. And that also goes back to, your thing that they know not what they do. Because they don't. In the ego mind, they're right. That's the thing. In the ego, whenever you attack someone, you're right. Okay? That's what the ego does. Oh, I'm going to attack you. Yes, I'm right for doing that because you have hurt me in some way, shape, or form. And that's not necessarily true. That's what you experienced. And I'm going to give you guys a great example, okay? So I had gone for a job interview at a bank, which isn't me at all. I'm not a job interview person. I'm not a bank person. I'm not a suit person, obviously. And I went there, and the lady was blown away by my response. She's like, oh my God, you're fabulous, you're wonderful. And I said, to this person, I said, thank you so much. But as soon as I shook her hand, I knew I didn't get the job. I said, thank you so much, blah, 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 blah. And I left. So I then went home, and, I told Mary Ann and I told Debbie. And then Mary Ann had texted me, because the lady had said, she goes, you have to be able to be a teacher, and, I see on your resume that you are a teacher. And I said, I am. And yes, this is now, and this isn't my job. No. This is not my job. This is my career. I had to stop thinking of it as my side job, because, and we'll get into that much later. Later on, another thing. But anyway, so I had texted her, I was like, oh, Mary Ann, all this great stuff, blah, 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 blah. And you know what she said? She actually did text me. She goes, well, what a confirmation, you're a teacher. I lost my mind. I started to cry. And I was like, oh my God, she's right. That's all that I am. I'm just a teacher. I can't do anything else. There's nothing else with my life. My ego went into a tailspin. Okay, it's exactly what my ego did. I'm never going to be anything. I'm going to fail. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. All this stuff. And my ego just ran away with me. And I'm just bawling, crying. They're like, oh, it's right. I'm never going to amount to anything. I was only a teacher, and now I've lost all my teaching. I don't know what to do now. And, then I'd gotten over it, obviously. It was fine. And then what happened was, from there, I said, I'd gotten over it. And then she had called me, and she was like, hey, how are you? And I was like, I'm good. And, we were talking. And I told her, I said, you really made me cry. And she goes, what? I said, yeah, you made me cry. And she goes, oh my God, what did I, why? And I told her, and she was like, oh my God, that's not what I meant at all. And I said, I know you didn't mean that. And now I know that. I understand that now. Now that, because she explained it to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, but look what my ego did. It took it as an attack. It took it as, she's being mean to me. That's what my ego took it as. She wasn't being mean at all. She was like, Ron, it's a confirmation. You're a spiritual teacher. You're always going to be teaching. But my ego said, no. She was saying that you're only a teacher, and that's all you're going to do with your life. It wasn't true. So, that is something that we have to work on, looking at our ego. Where does our ego say one thing, when someone typed or said another? How many times have you taken offense to something when there's nothing to take offense to? Your ego just took offense to it. How many times does that happen? And that's where atonement, forgiveness, whatever you want to call it, comes into play. Okay? And that's the whole premise of forgiveness, is to forgive, not only yourself in that situation, but to forgive the other person as well. And it's not forgiving them because they didn't do anything wrong, but it's about just being like, you know what? From this perspective, I forgive you. I had another friend say something to me. Once again, wasn't offensive at all, but my ego took offense to it and was just gone. It was done. Okay, it just kept on going and riling me up and getting me in fear and this and that. And it wasn't until I talked to that friend, she's like, I didn't mean any of that. She said like 2 words to me, and I took it as a whole sentence. That's not what happened at all. My ego blew it out of proportion. But see, here's the other thing that we have, and I know I'm just kind of jumping from thing to thing to thing, and, that's just how Spirit is guiding me, is we have 2 messengers in our mind. We have the messenger of our ego, which we can see as a rabid dog that says, go out there, find me all the shame, blame, guilt of myself and, everyone around me. Then we have the voice of what you can perceive as the Holy Spirit. And that is, we can perceive it as doves. And it says, bring me all the beauty, bring me all the love, and so I can share it with everyone. And the question to ask yourself is, which one are you going to listen to? Okay, which one are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to the voice of your ego and let it run away with you? Or are you going to focus on, that peace? I meant that I can forgive others, but have such a hard time forgiving myself with the wrongs that I have done in the past. Well, here's the thing with that, Melissa. You're still living in the past. The past is the past. Okay, that's it. The past is the past. It happened. Nothing you can do about it now. Forgive it, move on. If you can forgive others, if you are claiming that, if you say, I can forgive others, then you can forgive yourself. But you keep on reliving the past. You're not letting go of the emotional baggage. You keep holding on to it. And what's that serving? Nothing. It's just pulling you back into guilt, pulling you back into shame, pulling you back into anger. What about when you apologize all the time, even when you don't need to? Is that the ego too? Yes, that is the ego. Start telling yourself a new story about yourself. Yes, beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. Start telling yourself a new story. Yes. And yes, when you do apologize too much, that is the ego. That's not your spirit. Your spirit knows when is the appropriate time to apologize. The ego simply does that as a mechanism to say, well, don't hurt me. I'm sorry. That's the ego. Yes, yes. Yes, live in the now. Yes, yes, yes. That's all we can do is live in the now. Yes, yes it is. Exactly. I am so glad that you are here, James, to, to really help me with this. I mean, you've been doing it longer than I have, so I am so appreciative of you being here and being able to put, your 2 cents in, onto this. Like I said, I'm still very new to the course, so I am very grateful that you are here to assist me and kind of, put your 2 cents in on what you have learned from A Course in Miracles. Oh, well, you are very welcome. Oh, well, thanks. Oh, goodness. Well, what a really interesting day. You and I are going to move spiritual mountains. Yes, yes we are. Correct things. From here in Kentucky, I'm guessing Kentucky, you are a great teacher and people will seek their wisdom. Never be offended by the label. Yes, exactly, exactly. Think of fear and judgment. You apologize over and over so you don't hurt anyone or suffer with the judgment. But in the long run, it doesn't matter what they think. Self-love is the key. Yes, let it be so. Yes. How do you deal with loved ones who are critical all the time? The only way to really deal with, people who are critical all the time, the only reason that they're critical all the time is because, once again, and I know no one wants to hear this, and, there will be people who will be like, oh, that's not true. And that's okay. I will never say that I have all the answers. But from what I know, and what I, about criticism and about your families and all that, when it comes to criticism, okay, you have to look at where are you being critical. And you can go ahead and tell me 7 ways to Sunday that you're not critical, but you are in a situation where people are criticizing you. So you have to look at that as well and say, okay, well, where am I being critical? Okay? And look at that. All right, so let's go back up to this person about their family. Not that I'm, going to be able to answer it fully, but I will try. I'm so sad here, even though my family is here. Can you see that being a correct thing? I'm really confused about what you mean that you have your family there, but yet you're still sad. If you're sad, you have to look at, well, why am I sad? Why do I feel lonely? And I'm going to say most likely it is because that you have not invited spirit into your life. When we invite God into our life, spirit into our life, the angels into our life, the ascended masters, spirit guides, whatever it is, how could you possibly be alone? Really, how can you possibly be alone if you are surrounded constantly by those forces? For every thought God has, every loving thought God has, an angel is born. So if you think God thinks nothing but loving thoughts, that means there's like a cajillion billion angels, okay, that could possibly help you. When I do that, I need to leave. That's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do. Well, if you would like a reading, I'm not doing readings here. What this is I'm just doing my best to relay what I have learned from A Course in Miracles. If you would like a reading, you're more than welcome to message me after the broadcast. My readings for an hour are $60, and my readings for 30 minutes are $44. Doing harm to another, and they know not what they do. Cop out at best. They are self-serving and they know it. The duality card of good and evil, light and darkness, have you chosen a side, and balance, oh my goodness, balance is off. I forgive myself and judge the ones that need not be a part of this life. Why? Okay. You can only judge yourself. Yes, you can only judge yourself. Yes. I'm doing wonderful today. Thanks for asking. So, I think that that's going to end this, because I don't, at this point, Spirit's not saying anything else or guiding me to go anywhere else with it. So thank you so much for joining me for this enlightened teaching. And, have a wonderful rest of your day. And, remember, I will be live tomorrow doing my free 1-card readings at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you would like to book a reading, then... No, you're fine. You're fine. It only threw me off because I didn't know what I was doing or where I was going. So, yeah. I don't remember what I was going to say. I'm just getting thrown off because now I don't know where I am and what I'm doing. Basically, this is where the ego jumps back in and it's like, hey, I love them too. And I'm really thinking about doing more of them, James, doing more, of what I'm learning, what I'm going through, what I've experienced through my, Course in Miracles journey. So if you'd like a reading, you're more than welcome to message me. Like I said, my readings for an hour are $60 and my readings for 30 minutes are $44. And have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you all tomorrow live here doing my free one-card readings.